Wow, check that car out. Forget the Ferrari, I've got my Honda Beat. This is Gran Turismo 5, and as we go through the streets of Spain, you can see that the game looks mighty purty, and as it should after 600 years of delays. So yeah, this is GT5 for the PS3, and my car sucks. I hate it, and this is the most frustrating part of the game so far, is that the variety of cars you start off with is pretty crappy, and the load times are really long. That kind of ruined Mod Nation Racers for me. Hopefully I can get over it here, but they are pretty long, and I've already installed the game. But yeah, these are the boring starting races. But there's a lot else in this game in terms of challenges, kart racing, 100 other things. So screw the Honda Beat. Let's go check out something that's a little bit faster and a little bit more exciting, like NASCAR. Here's one of the first special events in the game. It's Jeff Gordon teaching you how to drift. So we're going to be changing the perspective here to feel what it's like to be a NASCAR driver, going, what, 196 miles per hour as we drift split those two cars, surpass 200 now. We're at 203, and you really have to be holding the D-pad like all the way down here. I had a lot of fun at this little trial, even though it's only 25 seconds long, as we break 213, 214, 217, 220. Man, you can really feel it, and it's a whole lot different when you're going 220 miles an hour compared to this Honda Beat going 54 miles per crap an hour. But there's definitely a ton here to do, from the kart races to the special events. The game looks great. There are parts where it doesn't look as good, but if you play a city course, it looks awesome. But screw the Honda Beat again. Let's check out something way cooler, such as a Lamborghini Gallardo in the rain at night. Here's where I think GT5 looks the best, and I don't know how you're supposed to drive with this view, because I can't see anything, and I can't see where I'm going, but the music is thumping, my car is great, the rain is crazy, I don't even know where the competition is, and this is pretty awesome. Right here is why GT5 is a successful game, as we smash into this car, and we are spinning out, whoa, crazy, but we recover, and with our huge horsepower, quickly pick up speed. And something you'll notice is there's a very dead sound when you hit other cars, because there's no damage model. So it's kind of like a box smashing into another box, a lead brick crashing into another lead brick is kind of how it feels to me, which isn't so realistic, you know, for the game looking so great and controlling well. This sucks, you know. Again, just like the Honda Beat, I'm not really a big fan of the lack of damage. But if you're looking for a simulation racer, I mean, after only 2 hours, I can already tell that this is like the Rock Band 3 of racing games. Over 1,000 cars, so many events, so many modes, a bunch of stupid useless stuff like picking wallpapers for your main page, just all sorts of crazy nonsense that they managed to put in over the last 7 years. And as we take first place here, I think GT5 is a first place grade title. It's super fun, controls really well, it looks awesome, even when you're spinning out like this. So this is Sly Cooper, and he is from 2002, Back to the Future in the Sly Cooper collection. I never played these games back in the day, but so far they are a blast. I feel like Sly Cooper is more a name suited for an old woman passing out donuts in a school cafeteria, but in this case he's a thievius raccoon going around and stealing treasure. And there's all sorts of variety in this game, from simple platforming stages to nonsensical stuff like shooting crabs out of your dual-stick submarine. The game looks great in the HD high-res cel-shaded style. Looks fantastic, and it has all your classic platforming, but I feel a little bit upgraded from something such as Ratchet & Clank or Jak and Daxter for the PS2. Those were the two series of the main three that I played, Ratchet and Jak. And I probably liked Ratchet a little bit more than Jak, but so far I think Sly Cooper may take the boat and beat out the other two. So far my biggest complaint with Sly 1 is the fact that there is no health system and your combat options are quite limited. You can basically run up behind guys and hit them with your little Scythe of Doom, and that's about it. I wish there was a heart or some extra, you know, meter, so you can just run up to these kind of lifeless enemies and die. It is a little bit creepy that there is hardly any sound going on in these levels. You'll hear all the noises of the environment and the music in the background, but Sly himself and the enemies don't speak very often. And the enemies are these creepy walruses so far. I assume they're going to change with location. But for Sly 1, your main objective is to take out these 5 ringleaders, and Bentley, the handicapped turtle, is kind of your main man helping you behind the scenes. And all the dialogue is really clever, and I love the cutscenes actually as well. They're done in kind of an old, what I feel is like a Sierra adventure game style. And there's tons of collectibles, and you can pick up hidden moves from these safes. And as we get this close-up here of Mr. Koopa, you can see that in high def, he looks pretty good. I mean, you just wouldn't think of this as a game from 2002. It plays, I think, pretty well for something that is nearly a decade old. And back to Sly versus Ratchet and Jack. I guess I like the pacing of this. That's what kind of makes it feel fresh and not just like typical character action, run in, collect new weapons, and kill everything you see. And there's a stealthiness about it, obviously, because you are sneaking. It's not very required. It's not Metal Gear Solid style where the alarm is going to go off and you're going to die instantly. But it just changes the pace enough to make it feel like it's something fresh as compared to, you know, every other third-person action game, which the main objective is to kill everything you see with as big of a weapon as possible. Here's the first major boss from the game, Mr. Rally the Giant Frog, and he is humongously fat. Clearly been getting some of that southern cooking because he has no concept of being fit. But this boss fight was a little bit random. I'm not sure how you're supposed to know how to beat it on a first try. And I think this was the first major callback that said, hey, yeah, this game is kind of old because of the boss design, something that you don't see trial and error sections very much anymore. But I really just like the whole style. You can see the little picture of the frog in the bottom corner, and that's kind of indicative of the cutscenes. And so far what I'm enjoying most is just the variety, and again, that different pace that isn't just go and collect the bigger weapon and kill as much as possible. And that difference is what's making me want to put time into Sly, even with all the other major new holiday releases. And this attack here, I'm not really sure how I was supposed to anticipate without seeing it before, but hey, that's okay. Sometimes the unexpected is a lot more fun.
You've beaten me!
So Pac-Man Championship Edition was one of the coolest Xbox Live Arcade games when it came out, what, 2 years back? Pac-Man CE DX is even cooler somehow. From all the craziness that Pac-Man CE brought, DX just kind of doubles that. The main goal here is to go around and have all these ghosts follow you so that eventually we can start a humongous chain that's going to get us a whole ton of points. And it really changes up the whole fundamental gameplay of Pac-Man from avoiding to sort of encouraging to follow and sort of having to trail along with you. And there's a bunch of different maps, and just like CE, the main mode is a 5-minute score attack to just see how many points you can possibly get. And it's very easy to not get very many points. You'd think, hey, there's hundreds of ghosts, I can easily get them. But it's not so easy. There's bombs that you can use to get out of tricky situations. But here's where the real craziness starts in, as we rack up, what, 20-30 ghosts in a row? And that's pretty awesome. It just looks really cool, and it never gets old. And the game has a lot of different art styles that you can choose between, and I think that keeps things fresh. And I like to switch them up each time I go through a 5-minute session. That way I don't feel like I'm doing the exact same thing, even though I really am and just trying for a higher score as we swallow 50 more ghosts. But there's, obviously, as you can see, whole differences in visual style, differences in music, and you have a bomb attack that gets you out of tricky spots. I don't think I have to use it here, but if you do, that will help you sort of Geometry Wars style get out of an impossible situation. The goal, obviously, is to not use the bomb because it would reset your score multiplier and the game speed multiplier, which you can see at the bottom, that increases the speed of Pac-Man. And right now we're at the max of 40 here as we approach the end of our 5-minute session. And I think that the most impressive thing about Pac-Man CE DX is the fact that Namco Bandai has managed to keep Pac-Man both visually and mechanically awesome. Like, it looks great, it's super fun to play, and for a game that's, what, 20-30 years old at this point, I don't know anything else like it. Like, it feels like a modern title. It feels like something that, hey, I could go on Xbox Live Arcade and want to play over modern Xbox Live Arcade games, you know, Costume Quest, Castle Crasher, Super Meat Boy. It fits just in perfectly with all of those, and it's awesome. The multicolored look, swallowing 500 ghosts at once, really, really, really great. I can't recommend it enough. for a mere 800 points. One of the best values on Xbox Live. Only thing I can see is if you get tired of playing the same mode over and over again, there are multiple maps. There's a bomb right there to get us out of that tough spot. There are a ton of maps and some different, score tag, time trial, etc., etc. But if you're someone who doesn't like to go for high score challenges or doesn't have a lot of friends who play online with you, to sort of score track with, maybe you get bored of it. But I have a blast. I like just watching it. It's kind of seizure-inducing at times, but when you get in that zone, there's nothing better than swallowing 100 ghosts at once. Pac-Man CEDX, I think one of the top Xbox Live Arcade games of 2010.
Thanks, mister. 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 Thanks, mister.